Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Fumble Live. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward. Jackie?
I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me everywhere @JRayTheFanatic.
And I'm Britt Johnson. You can follow me on all social media @I'mBrittJohnson.
I'm sorry. It's your boy Chris.
No.
Okay, I was muted. I apologize. Yeah, I'm back. Okay.
You guys, it has been kind of a morning over here. We've had some technical difficulties, but the show must go on, and we're excited to give you all of this news. So we had a lot happen over the weekend. We are going to be talking about the game of horse that might be that will be televised on ESPN. So that's kind of an interesting way that they are satisfying our need for basketball. We're also getting into Dwayne Wade and how he wants to clear the air with Aaron Gordon. We're going to be discussing the Hall of Fame and also talking about Gronk and the WWE. But before we get into all of that, Chris, can you give us a little bit of a hint as to what you are going to be getting into today?
Yeah, we have some updates as far as the 2K tournament from this past weekend. Some funny tidbits, nothing too crazy. Also going to be talking about some possible shade, both from LeBron James and Lonzo Ball. We'll talk about that later. And maybe Dwayne Wade is getting a new job, or is he? Stay tuned for that.
All right, and WTF, Jackie, what's coming up?
DeAndre Hopkins is still a Texan by a technicality. We'll see if that lasts. And also there is a new COVID-19 rumor thanks to a former World Series player. So I'll tell you about that too.
And any hints for Britt's takes?
Nope, not today. You guys are just going to have to wait.
Okay, well, before we dive into our Need to Know News segment, I do want to mention that the California Governor, Gavin Newsom, actually said that he doesn't anticipate NFL games will be held in California with fans in the stadiums in September. So that's kind of a big update. We've been thinking that the NFL would be somewhat untouched by the coronavirus pandemic. It seemed like it was far enough away that we'd still be able to proceed as normal. But now hearing it from a governor that, you know, he doesn't anticipate fans being able to be in the stadiums during games is pretty shocking, and it's kind of alarming to know that our public officials aren't seeing this slow down anytime soon. So, Britt, do you feel that there won't be any fans in the stadiums by September? Like, do you feel the same way that Gavin Newsom does?
No, I've been trying to be super positive and stuff during this whole time, so I would hope that by September we'd be able to see that. You never know, like, I would say maybe preseason, possibly not, but I feel like by the time regular season starts, I would think for sure we would have fans back in the stands, but I can only be a wishful fan over here hoping. So.
Well, Jackie, are you surprised to hear that this might be the case moving forward?
Not at all. I live in Hollywood where you would think that it's just business as usual out here. People aren't really taking it seriously. I saw a bunch of kids running and playing in the street. I saw a biker club, you know, on their little bike 10 speeds or whatever you call them, you know, going down. A jogging club. Like, if you legit live anywhere near Runyon Canyon, it looks like it's just people are on an extended vacation. It doesn't look like, you know, we're going through a pandemic until you go to Trader Joe's and then you see that long, ridiculous line. But aside from that, no, I don't think we're anywhere close to flattening the curve because people just aren't getting it. So, no.
I love hearing your crazy stories from Hollywood. It's so different where I am right now. I mean, It's like a ghost town outside, which...
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, like that's how it should be. I think they're going to start having law enforcement come out and, you know, force people to stay inside. I can't even believe that people are still going to Runyon Canyon. That's shocking.
Well, they're not going to because it's closed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but the thing is the hill to get up to Runyon Canyon is still pretty steep, so it's kind of still a really nice glute workout, which I wouldn't technically trip if people were still, you know, practicing social distancing and had on their masks and stuff like that. but that's not what's happening, and that's the aggravating part of it. So
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's wild. Okay. Well, let's just jump right in with our first story today. So, ESPN and NBA decided to put together a remote horse competition. This will likely take place in players' home gyms, so there won't be any contact amongst the athletes. So, the fact that every player doesn't have access to a home gym obviously eliminates some people from being able to participate. But what that does mean is that it's likely going to be a lot of, I feel like, the top players in the NBA who are taking part in this, except for someone like Giannis, who doesn't have a home gym. Which is unfortunate because I think he would be interesting to watch in this game. So it's obviously not going to be as exciting or competitive as a regular matchup, but it's something, and I feel like it's enough to kind of keep us satisfied, at least for a little bit. We have these different things to look forward to: the Michael Jordan documentary. We've got the that Big Three reality show and tournament. Now this horse game, but what's a little bit scary is that NBA executives are starting to feel less optimistic about resuming the season at all. So on SportsCenter, they said, quote, "It is clear that the NBA is angling to set up a deal that enables them to shut the season down. They don't have to do that yet. The way they're negotiating, they're leaving an option either way, but they're not having talks about how to restart the league. They're having financial talks regarding player salaries about what would happen if the season shuts down. I think there's a significant amount of pessimism," which is very, very disappointing news because all the executives seemed relatively optimistic about a week ago. They were talking about the different ways that they could resume the season, doing these bubble ideas, the casino idea, but they saw how that kind of didn't really pan out with the Chinese Basketball Association. They put everybody together in a bubble and people were still contracting the virus. So they're starting to lose hope, which is unfortunate for all of us as fans. But is this horse competition a good idea? Do you think it will legitimately be exciting? Chris, let's start with you.
I mean, it's an idea. I don't know if it's a good idea, but it's an idea. We're going to get to see more. We'll actually see our favorite players shooting the ball and doing crazy. So I think it's going to be fun. But yeah, I wouldn't say like it's a great idea. Oh my goodness, it's great. It's going to be fun. So it's an idea, and I'm sure a lot more people will enjoy that. But like you said in the video, for those who have not watched yet, after this live, go watch Devin's video on the same horse topic. The first thing I thought, and I'm sure everyone hears the same thing, first thing I thought was, will Ben Simmons be involved? And I want to know if who's going up against. So I like those kind of things will be funny. It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, the Twitter reactions to Ben Simmons potentially participating in this were so funny. Okay, so then switching gears, as the outbreak seems to just be getting worse and worse, are you feeling more confident that the season will be canceled? Jackie, can you tell me?
I mean, that's the thing. I don't want to. The last thing I want to think about is the season being canceled. I don't think any athlete, any fan wants to think about the season being canceled. But I mean, it's a reality, especially when every day you hear about more deaths. Every day you hear about we're nowhere close to flattening the curve. Like, I am in denial. And so I am very comfortable in my state of denial right now because I just don't want to think about, not seeing what was really a dope season. We've been talking about this for a long time, at how close everything was and how this Battle of LA was really dope and it was heating up, and to now all of a sudden that's just gone. And it's not even like gone like it dwindled away. It's just over. Just period. It's done. Like, I don't even want to think about that. But again, it's something that they have to think about. I personally, horse is really a boring game just in general, so I'm not personally looking forward to that. But, I definitely was looking forward to the possibility of even a shortened season, and to hear that that's a possibility that we won't do it. It makes me mad at people who are still going out and doing whatever the hell they doing. Like, go home so we can get back to basketball.
Yeah, I know you have a story coming up later, Jackie, about an athlete who disregarded social distancing rules, and that's really, that's funny. So you guys have to stay tuned for that one coming up. Britt, will you be watching the horse competition, or do you feel the same way that you felt about this NBA 2K tournament?
I think one thing's for sure that we can all say now, we understand why Steph Curry spent 5 hours to set up that hoop, because he probably knew he was going to be participating in this tournament. So Steph will for sure be playing, as we probably know now. Why would he set up the basketball court when he never had one his whole entire life? And I think I would just watch the highlights probably on social media. I don't think this is something you would need to see as a TV show, but I think if they just had it like on NBA or ESPN's like Instagram page, I think it'd be funny to see like the shot for shot things on that. But like, I'm not like gonna sit at 9 p.m. and wait for it to come on like I am going to be for Michael Jordan's documentary. It's not something that like should even be on TV, but obviously they don't have a ton of other stuff to do. I would rather just have them continue to play old games on these channels and then leave that stuff maybe just for social media or their YouTube page or whatever the case is, because they still make money off YouTube. So maybe have that on one of those kind of streaming sites, not on actual TV. But I mean, I'll watch the little highlights. I think it'll be a little cute thing to watch, but it's like Chris said, it's an idea. Like it's something like we would probably watch in the off season anyway. You know, if they put something like this together in the off season anyway, I think people would watch on social media. It's not like a TV made for TV, like, oh, I'm so excited to watch it kind of thing.
Right. Well, Delano in here says the only aspect that makes Horse intriguing is Ben Simmons, and the creative shots. Sorry about that, you guys.
What are you thinking about?
Oh my God, this lockdown is having a drastic effect on all of us, clearly.
But yeah, I agree. I think if Ben Simmons were to get involved in this horse competition, it would drive a lot higher viewership, just because people do want to see him freak out when someone shoots a three and then he's, you know, struggling to do that. So I would definitely be watching for that, but otherwise highlights are where I'll be getting all of my information about the horse competition. Let's jump into this Dwayne Wade and Aaron Gordon story. So Dwayne Wade wants to clear the air with Aaron Gordon. So D-Wade was one of the judges during the 2020 Slam Dunk contest, and Derrick Jones Jr. took home the trophy, leaving the majority of people who were watching thinking that Aaron was robbed. D-Wade said that he hoped to have Aaron on his live show so he could explain what went down with all of that. Leo, can you toss up that clip for me?
Next week, I'm trying to get my guy Aaron Gordon on so we can talk about this dunk contest.
Hey, listen here, man. Yeah, I'm happy you touched. I'm happy you touched on that, man.
Yeah, let's touch on that.
I've been getting
time we supposed to go. Let's touch on the dunk contest.
I've been getting a lot of pressure, man, and I don't appreciate it, man. Let me tell you something. Yes, I'm loyal, but I'm real. In my opinion, D. Jones won.
Okay, so what do you even think that Dwayne Wade will say to Aaron Gordon? I just feel like this would be an awkward conversation. Britt, I know you were pretty heated about the outcome of that slam dunk contest, so can you fill me in on what you think?
I still am heated. D-Wade has nothing to say to Aaron Gordon. Like, it's already happened. It's already done. You did something terrible because everybody looked at you at that moment. It was something planned to where all the judges said, okay, this round you guys will be the ones giving nines. This round you guys give nines. So then we can just have it to where they just have like a co-championship or whatever the case is. But they had a plan in mind. And it was clear they had a plan in mind because as soon as all of it was put on the board, D-Wade was looking this way and everybody was looking at him. So it was very clear that he was the one that purposely did that for a guy that he played with in Miami, you know? And I don't think there's anything that Aaron Gordon wants to hear. He tried to do the slam dunk 3 times. I think he was robbed 2 of those times, and this was one of those times. And I think it's very unfortunate because you can't get it back, you know? And now he said he never wants to compete in the slam dunk contest again. Next year he's going to try for the 3-point challenge. So I think it's very unfortunate because I think he should have 2 slam dunk contest like trophies at his house and he has 0, and it is 100% D-Wade's fault. Sorry, said it, I believe it. And the only thing he's going to say to Aaron Gordon is what he said right when it happened is, oh, well, I wasn't the only one that said 9. Let's talk about that. Like, no, we all know exactly what happened. Everybody knows what happened. Like, you have nothing to say to this man. And I don't think Aaron Gordon's going to go on his show. I just don't think that's going to happen. Sorry.
Well, it sounded the way Dwayne Wade brought up this idea of having Aaron on the show. It sounded like it was already set in stone, but that might have been me just misinterpreting the conversation. But what I really want to know is, how do you guys anticipate Aaron reacting to this conversation? Jackie, can you start?
I think he's gonna be that typical, like, what you gotta say, man, and then like that's it. And then just wait for Dwayne to say something, because what is he gonna say? Like, he went out there, he did his thing, he knows he should have won. Like, what I did spoke for me. I ain't got nothing to say to you, man. Like, I ain't got nothing to say. What you gotta say? And that's it. That's all it's gonna be. And Dwayne Wade needs to say, bruh, I'm sorry. I totally messed that up. You should have this trophy in your house right now. I'm gonna start a whole campaign to get you this trophy. If he says anything other than that, the shade is coming. It's just gonna be shady.
I feel like it's going to be awkward. Chris, how do you think this conversation is going to go down? Don't think
muted.
Are you muted again, Chris?
Yeah.
You look. We see your lips moving.
Okay, let's move on.
You know people like your lips. You're gonna have to hit that sound button though, because they're gonna be talking about your lips in a minute.
In the meantime, oh,
You good?
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know why it was muted on the thing. Anyways, all I was going to say was I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be petty central, and because Aaron Gordon is not one that holds back his opinion, as we saw in the press conference after he lost the dunk contest.
Yep.
And it's going to be a lot of, Dwayne Wade like, but this is what I know, and I want to hear Aaron, because Aaron Gordon's going to go after him, but I feel like at the end of it, it's going to be, old news. They're not going to care about it. It'll be entertaining for 5 seconds. Aaron Gordon will be mad. They'll go back and forth and then end up talking about something else. But I want it. I hope it does happen.
yeah. Pat K7 just gave us $2, so thanks for that, Pat. That was really nice of you. Now let's get into our next story, all about the 2020 Hall of Fame class. So obviously Kobe was honored, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Eddie Sutton, Tamika Catchings, Barbara Stevens. Those are some of the people who were elected into the Hall of Fame. And Vanessa reacted to Kobe receiving this honor. We have a short clip that we're going to play for you right now. Leo, can you put it up?
It's an incredible accomplishment and honor, and we're extremely proud of him. Obviously, we wish that he was here with us to celebrate, but it's definitely the peak of his NBA career, and every accomplishment that he had as an athlete was a stepping stone to be here. So we're incredibly proud of him, and there's some solace in knowing that he was probably going to be a part of the 2020 Hall of Fame class.
I feel like you can obviously tell that she is still so heartbroken, and even though having her late husband receive this honor is just still like devastating for her. It's bittersweet. Let's move on into Tim Duncan. He said that it was special for him for a variety of reasons. We've got a clip for you for that as well. In a second. Or maybe that clip isn't going up yet, but I mean, he said it was special to be around all of these other people, all these athletes who are so, well known in the world of basketball, and that he was just honored to be able to be elected. Now, my question for all of you is this the best Hall of Fame class ever? Why or why not? Britt, can you start off?
Okay, I think this will be something that will be a debate as the greatest Hall of Fame class of all time, but when I look at my selection for the greatest Hall of Fame class of all time, I kind of looked at it, obviously, for as a 3-on-3, and who would I want and who would I take in a 3-on-3? Because I'm comparing this to the 2009 Hall of Fame class when it was Michael Jordan, John Stockton, and David Robinson. So David, John, and Michael get the vote for me. Like, I feel like if I had to pick a 3-on-3 out of those guys, I'm going with the 2009 class. So that's the only reason why I give that class the edge. Oh, and still as the #1 Hall of Fame class of all time. But obviously, I think this is a close second, and I think it's something that's very debatable. Like, I think it's just on personal opinion. If you want like a traditional center to be there, and your shooting guy, like if you want more of that kind of thing, and who you have as like your top three or whatever, if you had all these guys playing on one team together. But I personally would have the 2009 as my pick. But I do think the 2020, like with Tim and Kevin and Kobe, like that is a really amazing class. And obviously the only other player that was selected was Tamika Catchings, and she is one of the GOATs for the WNBA. I always go to WNBA games every year. I watch them all the time. She is like hands down one of the GOATs for the WNBA. So like for her to be part of that class too, I think that gives, the 2020 class even that more of an edge. But if we're just going off of like the guys and picking the 3-on-3, I'm having the 2009 as like, I think the greatest class of all time.
Chris, I have the same question for you. Do you think this is the best Hall of Fame class?
Oh my God, I gotta go with Brett on this one, because the 2009 that was a great class too. But it's to me, this is very similar to the GOAT conversation, because it's literally up to your opinion, because it is that great of a draft class, Hall of Fame class that you can compare. There's also the Magic Johnson class. There's so many other ones that had amazing names all within the same class. So it's really up to your own opinion. So I it's close for me, but I don't know if I can give it the best. And I would agree with Brent and say 2009 to me has got a little edge over it. But this one's damn close, because to have KG, TD, and Kobe, all that, like that's got you. And like Britt said, to me, Catchings too was super. I mean, not underrated if you watch the sport, but for people who don't know anything about WNBA, super underrated, because she was great in the WNBA.
Amazing,
so, yeah, it's close. It's very, very close for me. But yeah, I would maybe go with 2009 as well.
And then Jackie, my question for you: how do you feel about Kobe's election into the Hall of Fame and Vanessa's reaction?
So. That whole thing was like she said, like Vanessa said, it was like everything he did in his career was leading up to this point. So to have it actually come to fruition, so quickly is a beautiful thing. I think that, I agree with Britt and Chris that it's a close between 2009, but I think that you have to tip the scale a little bit because Kobe's in it. Because it's more of an emotional thing versus we're talking about 3-on-3 and things of that nature, but like it's an emotional thing because Kobe's in it. We all knew he was going to be in it. Vanessa has to speak now without him actually being here. It has more emotion, and it has more of a sentimental value. It just pierces at your soul a little differently. So I think for me, it kind of goes that way. Plus, Kevin Garnett is one of my favorite basketball players outside of LeBron. Right. So for me, it means a little bit more to me. But I just really want to commend Vanessa, because every time I personally talk about Kobe, I get teary-eyed, and I didn't spend my entire life with him. So for her to be able to come forward and acknowledge this moment with her daughter, I thought was beautiful, and I think that we just need to rally around her, because it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. She always seems so composed despite everything that she went through. Now let's get into our final news update. So I don't know if any of you guys watch wrestling, but Gronk won WrestleMania last night. That's all I got.
Did you see it? Did y'all see it though? I actually watched it. It was the cheesiest thing I have seen in a long time. Long time.
Yeah, and awkward, and it was
It was like a first acting class with wrestling. That's what it looked like.
I just want to say that you guys can't hear sound because there was no sound. It was literally just sound effects and grunting, and just it was just so weird. So weird.
So bad.
Yes, very bizarre. Very, very bizarre. But that's all I got for you guys. Chris, you want to take us into the post-up?
Yeah, and hopefully we won't have any technical issues throughout this entire post-up, so I'm going to try to get through these without any problems. But let's see what the internet gods have to say about that. But yes, it is time for the post-up with your boy Chris, Quarantine Edition. Now, starting off with, I can't go on without mentioning the 2K tournament. There was some moments that were actually good. I want to also put on air, and this is not because I'm a hater. KD you sucked. Not just as a
Yeah.
2K player, but as a entertainment. That was the worst game of the entire weekend. It was unfortunately the very first one. But KD
But
and
it was one of the best people to watch this
to
weekend.
be honest,
I know you guys.
and I hate to gas you up, but it really was both the Clippers because Montrez was
Yeah.
hilarious too. Montrez was cracking me up, but Pat Bev came with sauce.
Pat
Yeah, he did.
Bev?
Yeah, they did. The Clippers, both of them came in. Both those games were fun. I loved Booker. Booker was fun too. But anyways, we're gonna get to that. But first, before we do that, we had one of the worst games, and it was actually somebody that we had a lot of questions about last week when we were talking about this, and it was with Boogie Cousins. He was playing against Andre Drummond, and he got smacked. Well, the best part of it was he chose the Nets, so it was nice to see the Nets get beat by 52. But the irony was that Andre Drummond picked the Lakers before Boogie could pick his Lakers. So I'm just like, I don't understand the thought process here. But they had a conversation, and they were talking about who, or Drummond asked him, because, you know, Boogie was a Laker for the season, and asked him how this whole Caruso GOAT conversation even started. Why is Caruso the GOAT? So Boogie didn't have many words for it, but he tried his best to describe why Alex Caruso is the GOAT. And here's the clip.
Or here's us.
Or here's us. Got no clip. All right, well. Okay, well, you saw the clip, but basically, us on screen is basically what the clip was, because he ain't really at something. He literally just kept saying the same thing. Nah, because hey, you see the GOAT, man. But and then Joe was like, nah, he's the GOAT, man. I'm like, man, Boogie, you are doing a great job.
I know.
Great
use
job.
your words. Use your
Yeah,
words.
right.
I love how composed he was by losing so much. He's just still sitting there playing the game. He finished it out. Like, I think the Kansas City Chiefs should take a little bit of, Boogie's demeanor in those moments, because he was getting blown out and he was still just, I'm gonna finish this game. I'm not gonna be salty about it, and he just continued to play. But this also put into we all last week were like, why is Boogie even playing? He's not in the NBA anymore. And we thought maybe he could be this amazing 2K player. Maybe that's why he's in it, but he's not. So again, why was Boogie in this tournament?
He's better than me. I don't even know how to play, but if I'm getting smacked by 52 points, I'm mad. I'm emotional. Something. And I don't even know how to play the game, but you ain't gonna just beat me by 52 points.
And Drummond was... And it's funny because Drummond was playing like it was a close game the entire game. He was getting upset when he was missing shots. And I was like, yo, Andre, chill out before you guys get some sort of fight. Oh, my God. It was so funny. But before we move on to the 2K tournament, this moment was my favorite moment. And when I show you guys this clip, if the clip comes up, a lot of you guys can hear this and think that he is shading the Suns. Oh, no. Devin Booker is not shading his team. He's actually shading 2K itself by also talking about not using his team. So basically, Michael Porter Jr. Said, hey, why don't we go Denver Nuggets? I'll use the Nuggets, you use your Suns. And this was Devin Booker's reaction. Hopefully we have the clip.
Just tell us, just in case we don't.
So the clip just went, and basically, you don't even have to have sound. You saw that Devin Booker, the minute Michael Porter Jr. said the words out of his mouth, Devin Booker smiled and said, no, that's not happening. And people are going to see that and be like, oh my gosh, he doesn't like his team. No, the problem is from when this game dropped,
the Nuggets.
2K had lowballed Devin Booker with an 84, 85 rating, and he's been very vocal about it. And throughout the season, Devin Booker had a good season. The Suns were talking about playoffs for a majority of the beginning of the season, and so he was playing well. And 2K never really bumped up his rating. So for that reason, he was not going to touch that team because he refused to use himself when he's actually not even that good in the game for someone who plays 2K. I love Devin Booker, and it's really disrespectful how he is in the game. So, when you guys saw that,
the shade is to 2K.
To 2K, not the Suns. Yeah, I'm here trying to play. I'm not even paid by Booker. I'm not even on Booker's books, but I'm out here playing, damage control for Booker. He was not attacking the team. Okay, Phoenix and Steve Carver and everybody in the organization was attacking 2K. That I can agree with. But yeah, so 2K tournament, that was some fun from that. There was other things that happened, but for the most part, yeah, KD was not great. A lot of people chose the Lakers or the Bucks, and yeah, we got some nuggets, but it wasn't a lot. But it was fun. It was cool.
Chris, do you have any predictions on who you think's going to win the tournament after seeing the first round?
Well, I had gone with, I'd said it Friday, not on here, but I said I was going with Devin Booker, and after seeing the way he played that game too, I'm sticking with Devin Booker. I think he's going to take the whole thing because he actually is a gamer. For those who also watch video games, he was in the Call of Duty tournament. I don't play Call of Duty, but he ended up winning MVP against actual professional gamers, and he won MVP and played very well in that. So Devin Booker actually games when he's not on the court, so I think he's got it for the whole thing.
Do you think they actually play a lot, like just outside of the game? Or do you think that they're all kind of novice and maybe Devin Booker's like the main one who plays a lot?
Yeah, I think that's exactly. I think like Trae Young, all the young ones, like Trae Young, Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, like those guys. I think those are the ones that actually play outside. But now after seeing Montrezl Harrell, I think he probably plays outside on low because he was smacking them. So I mean, surprised by some of these guys. But yeah, I feel like those younger guys are actually playing outside of the game.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. It was cool. I think I'm still with Britt's previous comment about the horse thing with 2K. I think it would have been better just keep it on Twitch. But hey, I mean, ESPN ain't got nothing to show, so I get it. But yeah, it was interesting. Anyways, moving on. We're going to some LeBron James shade ? I don't think it's shade.
Not shade.
But people took it as shade because I guess last week he had posted this picture of Kyrie Irving hitting the infamous shot over Steph Curry that won them the game. People thought it was kind of random and thought that it was just him just throwing shade. I don't see it that way because I do also remember, because I remember last week they were re-airing that Game 7 game on NBA TV, so I just assumed he was pulling a Tom Brady, feet up with LeBron James gear all over the place watching the game. So he saw the picture shared and he said, yeah, let me put this on my story because people need to remember who it was, and also probably don't look enough to his boy Kyrie. But you guys don't see this as shade, or is it still shade?
It is absolutely not shade. I told y'all that was how I was going to spend my weekend, is watching those same games. So it's not shade. You're highlighting a highlightable moment. You know what I mean? And it's a dope shot. Shout out to the photographer. That's a dope shot. You know what I mean? So,
that's who we shared it from, by the way.
Right. It's definitely not shade. It's just one of those things that, it's a memorable moment, and damn it, we're not getting those anymore. So share away.
I feel too. I think it could have been anybody dunking over anyone, and they would have been saying LeBron's throwing shade. So I'm with you.
Right.
You got nothing.
Me? No, I don't really. I mean, that was the last time he won a championship, so I think he's like feeding off that energy. Like, if I want to come back and win one again this year, like I need to think how I did in 2016 and remember those moments. And I think it's just fueling his fire to want to win again. So I just think that's what it was.
Okay. No, I was taking your silence as something else. I didn't think you had it. I was just making sure. I was just making sure there was no shade. I was making sure there was no fumble shade. Yeah, I was just trying to prevent the fumble shade. That's all I was doing.
LeBron, you guys. It's just not my go. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure.
That sounds like hate to me. I don't know.
I'll just try.
Obviously, I don't want him to win because I want the Clippers to win.
Right. All right. Okay.
If LeBron keeps the Clippers, I would like LeBron James, but he's not on my team, so I don't care about him.
I like Kawhi, even though Kawhi is not a Laker. I don't hate on Kawhi. So you see the difference. You see how that works.
There's not a conversation where he's brought up as the GOAT all the time, So I think because those conversations.
All right, moving on. Look. I got bad news for both of them. We probably gonna have to restart the whole thing, so everything they did last season doesn't even matter. All right, boom for both of you guys. Shade brought by the Knicks fan. On to the next.
Dropping the mic, Chris. Damn.
No, I hope not. Please, I don't take that seriously, Lord. Anyways, moving on to NBA YoungBoy, who just out of the blue attacked Floyd Mayweather, because for those who may not know, he is married to his daughter Ayanna, and he had a whole okay. Let me take it back, because this whole thing was just. It was interesting. I don't even follow NBA YoungBoy like that, but I have a lot of homies who do, so I heard the story. But let's bring it back. Okay, so some time ago, I don't know the exact dates, Ayanna was arrested for stabbing another girl. Just call for what it was, and that's what it was. And apparently, when the cops went to question NBA YoungBoy, he complied and he talked to him. So Kodak Black, another rapper, took that as him snitching and ratting, and NBA YoungBoy wasn't a fan of that. So he went on IG Live and just started going crazy, throwing N's, throwing F's, throwing S's, smoking his blunt, all kinds of things, right? But out of the blue, after walking in and going to his wife, aka Floyd Mayweather's daughter, going right with her in the room, he all of a sudden decides to throw some unnecessary shade at Floyd when he had nothing to do with the initial rant. Now, I'm going to put this on here, but if you guys are 9-year-olds and younger kids, cover your ears because, like I said, N's and F's are thrown around. Leo, run the clip.
Come here. You talking about this girl right here? My wife? You talking about my wife? Inside my house that I paid for? Now her bitch ass daddy, nigga? Huh? And now a bitch ass daddy, I ain't never accepted not one thing from her in my life. Why? Cause y'all be playing with me, bitch. Like I need a girl for something. Nah, I give her anything she'll ex.
So yeah, how I took it as he was just in his feelings a little bit. So he was going down there like, I did this is all me. Because you could hear the rant shifted a little bit for whatever you could put together and what he was saying. He was a little upset that people were starting to think that, he needs help. So Floyd ain't never helped me just because I married his daughter. I don't need Floyd's help. Every time she gave me something, I never needed it. But it was just such an all over the place rant. I know it's a confusing situation, but did y'all take anything away from what just transpired by NBA YoungBoy?
I mean, I just learned a lot of the situation right now because when I watched that video, I had no idea what was going on. I was so confused, and she was confused too. He turned on the light, she was asleep, and she's also in the press, like, "Get up, babe!" And she's like, "Oh, no, it's happening."
What's going on?
Like,
for real.
So I don't know. It was super weird and awkward, and I feel like he was awesome or whatever. But whoa, like chill out, like relax, like. I don't know. You need maybe you're smoking like sativa and you need to be smoking indica. Like whatever you need to calm down, like you need to calm down, because that kid is like big mad over nothing.
Crazy, man.
Like, I would hate to live like that angry all the time. Dang.
But the thing that gets me is, number one, that's not your wife.
Let's
just be real about that. That's not your wife.
He kept, but I was giving him the respect because he kept saying it. So let me just give him the respect. All right.
Well, let me. If I say I'm LeBron's wife 100 times, it still don't make it true. He's not. You're not white. You're not married. That's number one. Number two, if you're just gonna call somebody a name, maybe call somebody who ain't got no hands. That's number two. Like I definitely wouldn't be calling.
Right.
You know what I mean? That don't make no sense.
No sense.
And number three, maybe it's just some guilt because the person she stabbed was somebody that was dealing with his baby mama. Yeah. So he was probably in the background somewhere not doing enough to de-escalate that situation. So this would be one of those times where you should, follow the Fumble's advice and say less.
Say less.
We need to get that tagline on our cover banner. The Fumble. Say less. Man.
But actually say more so we can keep doing stories.
You're right, that's true. Actually, right. Say less after you've already said too much. Right. There you go.
We give you the advice after the fact to say less.
Right. We'll sign that.
You get punched in the face, then we're going to be like, see, you should have said less.
You should have said less. Right. Real quick before we move on to the next one, I love the Lotto's question. He said, what is an NBA YoungBoy exactly? Perfect question. I don't know if you're going to get it answered here today. Anyways, moving on to the next. Moving on to the next one. Trae Young seems to be sipping a little bit of Jackie's bronzesexual tea over there because Trae had himself an opinion that isn't too far-fetched, but, people love to make a big deal because it had to do with LeBron. So Trae Young, while they were doing the NBA 2K tournament, they were doing some interviews on IG Live and stuff like that, and Trae was asked who he thinks was going to win the title when the season comes back or if the season comes back or whatever, and he put Bron was on a different mission. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. That's why he's the greatest in my eyes. And he said that following saying that he thinks the Lakers were about to wrap up this season and take the championship. Now, I look, a lot of these kids look up to LeBron. I just watched my boy Kevin Knox on the NBA IG yesterday talking about who he looked up to. LeBron was on his list as well. LeBron actually has given Kevin Knox provide some advice and everything. So you're talking about that. So a lot of these young guys love LeBron. So to me, I didn't take this as anything crazy. But I feel like the biggest part that a lot of people connected to was Trae Young giving it to the Lakers. Now, unfortunately, I can't add this to my blank to the Lakers conspiracy saga that we have here on Post Up because there was no tweets or no photoshops underneath. So we're Trae Young safe in Atlanta for any Hawks fans out there. But is he just giving an opinion, right? Or is this a little out of pocket for saying the Lakers?
This is terrible. What happened to competition in basketball? I get you're on the Atlanta Hawks and you guys have no chance of making it to the whatever, but as much as Kobe Bryant liked Michael Jordan, he never would have said, I think Michael Jordan's going to win something over, like, me, and he just wouldn't have said anything, you know? Like, either he's saying, I'm winning, or nobody else is winning. He would never, as a current player in the middle of, whoever, we'll see how long the season goes or whatever continues back with the season, but, like, you're still playing this season. After the fact, yes, you could say, well, yeah, he was on a mission, he did his thing, he won. Not before it happens, not when you're currently in the NBA and you're playing against this man. I am so sick of the players being, like, on somebody's balls during the season. Like, you are not on their team. Everybody that plays with the Lakers can say as much and praise LeBron as much as they want. Nobody else during a season needs to be saying anything else about how great another man is on another team and that man's going to win a championship. When did basketball become so soft? Come on, guys.
Obvious. Like,
say it again.
Don't you think that he was just stating the obvious, about,
No, because it's not obvious that the Lakers are going to win.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's not obvious. I mean, the statement he said about LeBron was, he's right. LeBron was playing at a different level this year. He was playing a lot more games than after everyone thinking he was going to be missing a lot of games this year. He played a lot more games than people expected. That part was right. But I'm going to let you guys finish before I get my last part.
I 100% agree with Britt. I think Ice Trae is right, obviously, but I do think I agree with Britt. Like, that's one of the things that I hate to see. Because, like I said, I like Kawhi, but when the game is on, Kawhi ain't worth a what to me. And I'm gonna talk all bad about him. I'm gonna make fun of his goofy laugh. All of that is happening like when it's regular play. When the season's over, we can have a different conversation. Yeah. So I do totally respect that because number one of the things that I hate, like if y'all are slapping hands and being cool after the game, I'm all good with that. But one of the things that I do hate, if I have one little nugget of things that I don't like, I know LeBron has all these handshakes with people. Don't do that crap before the game. Like, I don't want to see no kind of camaraderie. Y'all better not even have phone numbers. You better block them before you start the game. No text messages, no Instagrams, nothing. Nothing. Like, I don't want to see your babies. I'm gonna shade you. I'm gonna put you. Everything is going to be on blast before the game because it's a competition. But I do agree, and I saw Tashad Williams said the competition is in the money. Come on now. Winning means nothing no more. I do agree that there is a twinge of truth to that because back in the day when we're talking about Michael Jordan, you getting that big contract based on how much you win it. Now you getting that big contract based on your name, your stats, your fandom, how much people love you. So I feel like that has dialed down. So that's kind of made the league soft. I think maybe if we go back and make these people earn their money, then maybe we'll get back to, I need some
basketball.
I need everybody to be like Russell when they go on the court. None to say.
Exactly.
So I got just some I'm gonna play devil's advocate a little bit here. Now here's my thing. The only reason why I'm semi all right with it is for two things. One, didn't pick somebody in the East, so I'm like, all right, okay, cool. You're in the East, I get it. You can't compete, but cool. Didn't take the Bucks, I get it. And two, I'd rather an answer than a non-answer answer where he'd be like, there's, the Lakers playing good, the Clippers are playing pretty good, and the Bucks are all right. So I think one of those teams, where you get no answer, you just naming teams. So playing devil's advocate, I would say, all right, at least he named a name. And you still not going with that? No one cares about that? Like, who cares?
Next subject, Chris. You lost us.
All right.
You can even get Devin to side with you on that one.
You can really try on that
All right.
one.
I try to have you on that one, Trey. Now, like I said, I don't agree with that. I think that he should have just said nothing. Should have been like, we'll see when this come back or something like that. That's what I think he should have said. But again, I agree with the LeBron James part. The picking the Lakers. That's your opinion there, Trey. Anyways, moving on to the next one. We have some dopeness here from Steph Curry. Actually, here we go. We have another Steph moment. We need to start putting these on a whiteboard or something like that. Notch every time Steph Curry knocks up a Steph moment, because that's what I call him. Whenever Steph Curry does something like, "Oh, Steph," that's a Steph moment. This one right here is a Steph moment. So yesterday or whenever it was sometime last week, this over the weekend. Zack Dobson, I will, if you don't know the name, I will remind you who the name was later. But he was going live on IG, and he said that he was going to have Steph Curry come through in the live, and people weren't believing him, blah, blah, blah. Well, Steph Curry did end up coming through and join him in his live stream on IG, and here was his reaction, and here's Steph getting some Steph points.
It's love, for real. Hey, you real. For real.
I had to say this up, bro. So,
that's real.
We following you, though. I know.
Okay.
I know you been doing your thing
I gotta make it. Curry.
all day.
Curry on.
I know what. All right, we rooting for you, bro.
I appreciate that, bro. It's love,
Yes,
bro.
sir. All love.
All right, bro. Good night.
Yes, sir.
What? That's bro. I'm done. No, we stop. I got 8,000 views.
That's so cute.
Yeah, he was so hot. Yeah, the dope story. So there you go. All y'all just confirming the Steph moment. Anyway, but it was a dope. But this one was dope. This was definitely warranted because Zack Dobson was actually the younger brother of wide receiver over in Fulton, Knoxville, Fulton. His brother's name was I need to look it up. I can't. Xavier Dobson. I thought I had it on top of it. I don't have it. But I don't know if you guys remember back in 2016 during the ESPYs, he was actually awarded the 2016's ESPY for the Arthur Ashe Award for Courage because he sacrificed himself for three young ladies who were in the middle of a school shooting from these three random dudes. Yep. Yeah, and he lost his life while protecting him. And Zack is the younger brother of Xavier. So, like I said, Steph Curry had honored him and gave the award to the family and met Zack through that process and followed him on all the socials and stuff like that. So he has been following. So right now, Zack is actually a wide receiver for, I think it's MTSU, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check before I get my facts wrong. Yes. And so when Steph was there saying that, I'm watching you, keep going, pushing for you, that's what he was talking about to hopefully, take the next step and go to the league. So it was just an overall dope moment. A lot of these times, people think that these athletes or not athletes, celebrities, whoever it is, they get to, connect with these families and stuff like that. And a lot of times they do keep contact with them. A lot of times they don't. And to see something like this and to, have this moment and join his live stream and just say what's up and, give him, a little bit boost. Cause like he said, he got his 8,000 views when he normally gets like, in the hundreds and stuff like that. That's a pretty cool moment. So shout out to Steph. This was definitely a warranted Steph moment. Loved it.
Yeah,
Steph
for sure.
moment. I have no fight with it, but it is a Steph moment nonetheless. But shout out to them. That was pretty cool. Next up. All right. So for those who love Dwayne Wade, we talked about Dwayne Wade in his live streaming with Aaron Gordon earlier. Well, you know what? Dwayne Wade might be having some conversations and stuff with people, but that might not last long because he's probably going to be working in the Bulls front office. Or is he? Yeah. On Friday, Woj dropped the bomb that the Bulls are finally looking to fix their front office because they have a lot of problems, and I'm not going to get into them because I can't talk because I'm a Knicks fan. But the Bulls have a lot of problems in the front office, and they're looking to change things up. And Dwayne Wade responded to Woj's tweet by saying this: I know someone. Of course, you read that tweet, you go on Twitter, you see that, be like, is he the someone? He's from Chicago. He played for Chicago for a year. Oh my gosh, Dwayne Wade's going to run the front office. No, after everyone went crazy, just, I think about 30 minutes later, he responded to Bleacher Report, giving the eye emojis to that tweet, saying, no, not me. I really know someone, haha. So he probably knows somebody that could run the team. Well, there's no names, no speculation, but I'll be honest, which one of y'all believe that Dwayne Wade was actually trying to run the Bulls?
I did.
Look at that.
I was like, I did. No, I did too. I fell for it. I fell all the way for it. I was so hyped. I'm like, yo, it makes sense. That's right. Get back to Chicago. Do your thing, Dwayne Wade. And then
He
he did
didn't
that.
even want to stay there to play basketball. Why would you think he would want to go back
Because he
in
has
and
other
run the
stuff.
team? Even though he's from Chicago, like, he didn't even want to stay there.
Yeah, but then maybe because he knew what the problem was, so he can go in there and change it. He has other things going on in Chicago, so maybe I buy it, and yeah, he got me. I tried. All right, well, Dwayne Wade, thanks for getting me.
Me and Jackie were not pulled.
Devin, I was with you on that one, Devin. All right, and then quickly, I'm gonna go to this next one. Back to 2K tournament. I'm pretty sure you three could agree with TJ McCollum when we saw the tournament, the 2K tournament continuing, and he tweeted this out saying, "I'm really watching Whiteside play 2K on ESPN. What has the world come to?" Honestly, even as a 2K head, I was still thinking the same exact thing. I'm like, this is happening on ESPN. This isn't on my computer. This is ESPN.
Yeah.
It's a sad world
here we are
right now.
Yeah.
Sad day.
I'm glad we weren't the only ones. Like, actual NBA players are coming out saying, like, wait, what is happening right now? So I'm glad that he...
That's the thing. 2K fans, too. Like, people who actually like the game and stuff, like, they were watching it, but they're thinking the same, like, this is weird. Because a lot of my homies, we were texting back and forth, like, this is cool, but why couldn't this just be on Twitch or something else? Like, cool, good for you, man. I know you need stuff, but it's still weird. Very weird.
Yeah.
And last but not least, this one's not a TikTok because the Ball brothers refused to join TikTok. Melo had been saying the same thing, too. Lonzo Ball refuses to join TikTok. So he did his version of Drake's Tuesday Slide on his IG, not on his TikTok. But the thing is, right, there you go. But the thing is, it was good. Like, Lonzo has some moves. We can't play the music because it's Drake, and we like to keep our, no strikes here from YouTube. But yeah, let's see, he has homies coming in, and Zobot coming.
Second homie, he could have been.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, he should have been in it. Yeah, keep the first one. Take the second one out. But Zoe has some moves, man.
Yeah, he does.
So they're doing the original two.
And
There's nothing.
I feel like guys just need to do a little two-step chill, like not do too much. And I feel like Lonzo's just like, I'm just gonna do a little swag here. Yes, I love it. Okay.
Zoe got the moves, man.
See that? The guy that needs to go.
Well, look at Zoe. He ain't done it. He's about to break it down.
Look at this.
The video cut. So about to break it down. We'll never know. But I'm going with this one.
Yeah.
They are good friends, though, because that one dude couldn't have been in my video.
The news about TikTok.
What?
Y'all need to get off TikTok because the government announced that it's owned by a Chinese communist, and they actually can get all your information, all your keystrokes they record, all like your location, your picture. They have access to everything on your phone, and they can literally sell all of your information to anybody they want to.
Yeah, but technically, the whole country's owned by China, technically. I'm just saying.
Well, it's when your password sold to the biggest scammer that's getting all their stuff from Lenox Mall in Atlanta. Go right ahead.
I just feel like if I pull my tag out of my shirt, it's going to say made in China. Or if I look at my hard drive right here, it's going to say made in China.
The privacy of your phone is actually like they take all that information, and they last month the military is banned from using it, and so is TSA banned from using TikTok because of this. So
dang.
Yeah.
Devin, I need you to talk to your people.
Quick segue into WTF.
Yes, that's
the ultimate segue. Jackie, take it away.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna just delete TikTok now. So anyway, there's good news for Texan fans. Kinda, DeAndre Hopkins is still a Texans right now because him and David Johnson have not passed their physical, and if either of them fail the physical, the trade would fall through. David Johnson did have like a preliminary physical on his wrist because he did lose motion in that. He still has limited motion in that. But the crazy thing is if the NFL draft takes place before the physicals take place, then the draft picks that they had in this trade can also not be exchanged. So this is good news for you Texan fans. Y'all need to hope this physical never happens.
I just want to say this is why last week nobody was on my team when I said that we need to hold off on trades until a later time. We should not be doing trades because of situations just like this. Now these people got all their hopes up thinking they were getting Hopkins, and they might not get him now, and Hopkins probably already bought a house out there, and now he probably has to move back to Texas. I told y'all this. Nobody wanted to listen to me, and now look at what's happening.
I hear you. I think this is a good thing for the Texans, though. If it, it'd be bad and you'd be right, but still be a good thing for the Texans. But all right, so you guys know we're on a lockdown that is pretty much worldwide right now, including the UK. But there is the Manchester City, which is a football, soccer for us here in America, and their star player Kyle Walker is currently under investigation because he called some sex workers over to the house to entertain he and a friend. The funny thing is one of the sex workers her name is Louise. She's a criminology major, and she had no idea who Kyle was until the other girl told her, and then she decided to take some pictures and then felt it was her criminology majoring self to let the world know. So now he's under investigation. He did issue a statement that said, I want to take this opportunity to issue a public apology for the choices I made last week, which have resulted in a story about my private life in the tabloid. I love that apology because he's basically saying, I wish y'all really would mind your own business.
Pretty much.
But he went on to say, I understand my position as a professional footballer brings the responsibility of being a role model. As such, I want to apologize to my family, friends, football club supporters, and the public for letting them down. But to add insult to injury, that story came out yesterday, which was Sunday, and then first thing this morning, the ball club had to tweet, the Manchester City family are devastated to report the death today of Prep's mother, Dolores, in Barcelona after contracting the coronavirus. She was 82 years old. That is terrible that you can't honor the lockdown and people on your team are losing people because of this virus. What is
up with these football players and prostitutes? Because I remember when the Mexico World Cup team had like 15 prostitutes that actually the country paid for them to have after the World Cup was over. So I just don't understand what's going on.
I mean, I get it. It's like what that comedian said. You don't pay her for sex. You're paying her to leave after. So I totally understand what's going on here. But anyway, if you guys follow me on IG, make sure you do, because I every week try to debunk another one of these COVID-19 rumors. This one is not on my list. It's from ex-star Aubrey Huff. He is from the San Francisco 49er Giants, and if you guys remember, back in February, he was uninvited to their 2010 World Series reunion, partially because of his Twitter antics. And then on Sunday, he's at it again. He said, I just heard from a credible source that works at CNN, and he said there is a doomsday asteroid that will hit us in 3 weeks. Nothing we can do. So this coronavirus was released and used as an excuse to keep people from panicking and stay home with their families in these final days. That's my favorite conspiracy theory of all time. People, of course, went in on him and was telling him he was an idiot, and then he did another tweet that said, this just proves how many people will believe anything they read, hence why there is a quarantine, stay-at-home, coronavirus nonsense in the first place. Don't believe everything you read on Twitter or on Instagram and here on mainstream media. Do your own research. And that pissed people off more because they felt like he was saying that, the stay-at-home and coronavirus is not a real thing. So he's just in the doghouse all the way around. But
if there wasn't like an asteroid coming at us, I would hope they would let us run amok for the last 3 weeks of our life, not keep us inside.
Call all the prostitutes. Call them all.
Everybody, get out, run amok, go crazy, do whatever you want.
Yeah, if we're all going to die anyway, don't make me just sit in the house, especially if I'm sitting in the house with somebody I was going to get a divorce from anyway. Now I'm just stuck in the house with this person. That would be horrible.
Right, yeah.
Oh, my God. That would suck.
But that's all I got. Let's get into some Brit's takes.
All right, guys, we will keep this short and sweet today, but I actually have the cure to everybody's wishes, which is to bring the NBA back. So WrestleMania is back. We mentioned that earlier. Gronk won. They had their match show, whatever you want to call it. If you believe it's a sport, a match. If you believe it's not a sport, maybe you just call it a show. But either way, there were no fans in the stands, which is very, very difficult, as Chris said earlier, for WrestleMania, because it's so awkward to see all of these people doing this crazy stuff. They like live and thrive off of the audience and the fans that watch. That's 50% of WrestleMania is the audience and their reactions to stuff. So to see it without it is a little weird, but they made it happen, you know, and obviously we don't have the numbers at this moment yet for what happened last night, but when they did WWE Raw and SmackDown over the last like couple weeks, the numbers dropped a little bit, but not too much. The one from last night was suggested to get roughly about 200 million views is what they thought was going to happen. I don't know. They haven't released the final numbers or whatever on that, because they have to look at all platforms and what it reached in TV and on YouTube, because they also showed it on YouTube or whatnot. But I just want to say, NBA, what's up? Like, WWE made it happen. What is your guys' problem in making it happen? Like, all the players who have been contracted with the coronavirus, they're all good now. They've all been cleared to play. What's the holdup? I will give you guys a rundown right now of exactly what you need to do. You can start the season literally at any point now. You can have it in Vegas. You guys know how Vegas works. You guys do Summer League in Vegas every year. You guys already have locations where you know where the players can play. You know where they could stay at. Like, that's the easiest way to get this done, is just do it in Vegas, because you guys do Summer League in Vegas already. You already know how the system works. You guys already have relationships with the arena and with hotels and stuff that you could use. You do the same exact thing that you would be doing in a couple months anyway for Summer League, but you can do it right now. Play whatever it is, 10 games, have 3 games a day, so 6 teams are going to be playing. Play that over a couple weeks until they've played their final 10 games. This gives a chance for players to have a couple days off in between each game, and they're not just playing back-to-backs every single night. And then you go into the playoffs. When the playoffs start, have all the series be 5-game series, which you guys used to do in the beginning anyway, and then change it for the NBA Finals to a 7-game series. If you guys did this and you just started it up in the next week or two, because let's remember, at this point right now, we wouldn't have started playoffs anyway. So changing it to 5-game series and then having the finals be the 7-game series and only playing maybe the 10 remainder games, not playing the whole 20 games were left in the season, we could literally almost finish this season like we would have finished the season mid-June, maybe early July we finish the season, and then you don't have to worry about having to push back the next NBA season or change that schedule at all. Literally, you can make this happen and do it right now. I don't understand what the holdup is, because the longer we wait, there's going to be more NBA players that can then now contract the coronavirus, because they're going to be out starting to hang out with people, being around people again. If you do it now while none of the players have it and bring them all to a location, you literally could finish out the season so easily. And I don't understand why the NBA has made this so difficult to do. Like, WWE figured it out. You don't think that the NBA is going to get a lot of views of people watching it, even if it's just the players playing and they're playing, and people watch Summer League. There's usually not a lot of fans in the stands at Summer League, to be honest. Like, there will be people in and out during the games, but it's never a packed house for Summer League. People still watch Summer League. Like, and this is NBA, actual, like, top NBA players, and this is the rest of the season. Everybody's going to be watching it. I just don't understand why they don't take advantage of this and figure it out. It's so easy to do. My questions to you guys is, why do you think the NBA is so hesitant to make this work, and what do you really believe the holdup is? Like, why aren't they just trying to get this season started instead of, one day we're hearing they're thinking about canceling it, the next day we're hearing about cruise ships and whatever. Why don't they just put a plan in place and do that plan? Like, what are they so worried about that could go wrong? Jackie, I'll start with you.
I think it's just straight up fear. I think that moment when Rudy first tested and everyone was kind of freaked out, and Mark Cuban had his game stopped while it was in progress, and then everything we've read says, if I test you right now, you might test that you don't have it, and then 4 or 5 days later, you might still not have symptoms, but now you have the virus and you can spread it. I just think that there's just this fear of, if we do this and then people contract the virus, then we're negligent and liable. From a business standpoint, it makes sense to push forward, like you're saying, and let's get this started. But from a legal standpoint, when you're talking about negligence and if somebody gets it, what could the ramifications be from that? I understand that as well. However, I do think there's a thing called waivers. You have people sign that, you go in, and then you just test people consistently. Like you say, okay, we're going to test you more than once, and I get how that might be perceived in the public because we know tests are limited. So I just feel like there's a whole lot of things that they could do to make the season start that might have ramifications later, either from the court of public opinion or legal ramifications. And I think that they're just gun shy and don't want to face any negativity if they do this and something happens.
Yeah, Devin, why do you think that the WWE was so quick to be on board to continue their, I don't even know what you would call them. They're not tournaments or matches. They're shows. And the other leagues are more hesitant to do anything.
Honestly, I can't really wrap my mind around why or how they were able to even let this performance go on. I feel like it was probably best, since every league everywhere is being canceled or put on hiatus, that the WWE probably should have followed suit. And I'm with you, Jackie. I don't see it happening that the NBA would ever start back up again, and in the same way that the WWE did, just because making sure that people aren't sick, making sure that they're not just asymptomatic, using all the tests, all of that would have such a backlash.
Chris, what about you?
Well, I think, and I'm not saying it's right, because like Austin Hall just said, because of Vince McMahon, that's really the only reason why anything happened with WWE this weekend. I just think that they can get away with it because it is only a 2-day event rather than with the NBA coming back, that's going to be, more days and, weeks and stuff like that. So, but the thing is, with what you're saying, I don't entirely disagree. I feel like the biggest thing is, like Jackie said, the fear of it. And I feel like the only way for something like that to happen or to occur is they would have to be testing the teams a little bit more regularly, which is unfortunate because there's other, we need to test for other people in the States. And also, because of that, then they would most likely have to go straight into the playoffs because it's a lot easier to do it with how many teams are in the playoffs? 16 rather than the 32 or 30 that are already in the league. So, that would make more sense because then at least you're taking less tests away from other people and stuff like that. But I think that those are probably the biggest factors because they're going to be way too scared to make that jump and then have just that one more coronavirus positive test after coming back from the season and then completely ruining the league. But I don't completely disagree though. I feel like that there is a way. I'm just afraid that would have to be going right into the playoffs if they were to do it right now because of that. Because they would have to test them. They have to test the players.
How would you feel about them going straight into playoffs?
Personally, I would hate it. Yeah. I don't like it. But if that was the only, to me, that is the only way. I hate it. But it's the only way just because, like I said, they're going to have to test the players. They can't just go and just assume, all right, these guys said this. All right, cool, we're going to go off of what their medical bill said last week. They can't do that. So It's better to do that with less teams than with the whole entire league.
All right, you guys. Well, that wraps up our show for today. We're going to be back again tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Go ahead and subscribe to the Fumble. Tap the bell for notifications. Give this video a thumbs up. We're going to do our little handshake. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Peace.